My name is Ayowande Lawal. I champion a focus group discussion in Burkina Faso, and I'll be sharing my experiences with Bukola.
Hello everyone, and I am delighted to welcome you to this episode of the School of Experience. Today, I'm joined by an amazing young lady. Amazing young lady, a member of our team here in Boston Marketing Consulting. That's a special name, we'll call her Monigio Christine by Shembrakimu. And so recently she embarked on an experiential expedition to Burkina Faso. Yeah, Burkina Faso. So today she's going to be giving us some inside scoops, the good, and the good. So she's going to be telling us how the journey was, how was she able to achieve our objectives, and what were the learnings. So that you're all aware, we both recently took the COVID-19 test, and as such, we are clear, we are clean, and so we can actually focus. It's important for you to be aware that COVID is still very much around. So Ayowande, how was it?
Thank you very much for having me. It was different.
Yeah.
It was different. It was a different ballgame entirely. So Nigeria and then South Africa, but Burkina Faso was something different. There was a language barrier.
That's a problem thing now. South Africa, we have been there before.
What I meant about that was that South Africa is Anglophone. So
yeah, okay, all right. Anglophone, Francophone.
So so there was a language barrier. There was the weather condition. And it was just a different food. Oh, the food was different as well. So yes.
Different in a good way. Burkina babes watching as well. Just saying, mind your language.
So let me say that I found a Senegalese restaurant that came to my rescue.
Senegalese. So there's a plot for food in Burkina. Yes. Fantastic. So tell us about actual project that you did.
Okay, we received a brief from clients to conduct a focus group discussion for a segment.
Hold on. What's the focus group discussion? What I don't know. Don't just drop these things. Remember what this whole thing is about? It's a school of experience, yeah? So let's go.
So a focus group discussion is meeting with a specific target audience where you have a clear objectives, you have a clear questions. All you're doing is to just bring them together into a room because of the word group. So it has to be a group of people, and then you're moderating, asking each person a certain question, and everybody must participate and share their opinion on that subject. So that's it.
Fantastic. So that is research 101. So if you didn't know what the focus group discussion is, now you know it's a type of research. Normally between 10 maximum to 12 people, so that you can have a closed session and people can be free and you can get as much information as possible. For us, marketing practitioners, research is an important ingredient. We just don't go to market without understanding what our consumers need. What is the task to be done? What are the jobs to be done? So we really don't just go and create exciting experiential campaigns without the element of research. So that is critical. So our client is very particular about ensuring that they're not just creating campaigns for random people. So they sent Ayowande all the way to Burkina to get insights that they will now use to develop marketing execution plan. You mentioned that you got a brief and then you just went and what were the important things even before you left Nigeria? What were the critical things that you had to do?
So the first thing was to translate the brief into discussion guide because it is critical. It is very important to ask the right question. The power of asking the right question.
Right.
When you ask the right questions, you get the right answer easily without any stress. So that was the first thing that I had to do even before I left Nigeria for Burkina Faso. So we translated the brief into proper discussion guide, taking notes of the nuances in Burkina Faso, and then profiling the client such that when you get there, you know the exact person that you are speaking to, and you are not just running helter-skelter. Yeah, so that was the first thing we did.
So you had a specific target audience.
Yes.
Then you created a profile for them.
Yes.
Did you find them easily?
That part of it. It wasn't easy. So the target country now, Burkina Faso, is it's different. So it's not like Nigeria where where you can easily walk into a particular space and say, oh, I'm looking for this, and then they direct you to the right place to get them. In Burkina Faso, so it was finding that particular product. A lot of people didn't know about it, so we had that challenge there. And there was a language barrier. Yes, I had an interpreter with me, but even getting the interpreter to understand what I wanted was a challenge. I had to show them the picture of the particular. So with that, showing them a picture helped. So with the picture, we were able to move. We did a bit of running around, we couldn't find, and then we had to go direct. So we had to sit back and say, okay, how do we do this? I had to come with
So you had to cut corners?
No, cut corners. No, we don't do that. So a core objective or a core value in buzzword marketing is integrity. In everything that you do, in everything that we do, we make sure that we do not cut corners. We do things the right way at the right time. So yeah, that is also, so in all the projects and everything that we do, it is important that we take that into consideration. So as with this case, even though we had difficulties, we had to just work and do the right thing, and that was why we had to go back, take a step back to say, what is the better way to find these people? We know what we want because we have a profile, we know our target audience. So we had to take a step back and reevaluate our objectives.
So how did the client feel? How were you carrying the client along? How did you manage that?
Okay, so because we would not cut corners, it was important that we notify the clients of the challenges we're having, of the peculiarities in that particular market. So at every point, daily reports would call the clients, this is what happened today, this is what we saw. Okay, it got to a point where we could not see the exact, so clients gave us a gap of the type of people to look out for. After we had explained the challenges, the clients also came on board because they trusted that we had done our best and they were willing to expand it to accommodate the peculiarities in that particular market.
So ladies and gentlemen, pray for a good client and understanding. And in this case, the client understood the realities and they also found a way to understand that there was an adjustment that had to be done, and it did not, adjustment that did not impact negatively on the outcome of the research that she was on. Please carry on.
Okay, so with the adjustments, it became easier to find what we wanted, to find the group of people that we wanted, and within 2 days we got the people we wanted, and we had the session, and it was very enlightening. It was good to get their opinion on it. It was different from what you would hear another person like in Nigeria say. So it was even for me, it was an eye-opening experience just to see how other people think about how their rationale, why they do things. Yes, it was a good one.
There's something was really interesting that happened, and I would like for you to explain that. You're understanding that with this whole COVID-19 situation and the fact that businesses have to, everybody has to make pivots, in terms of how you actually do things, you have to adapt. So something that we have to do. Normally, clients are present, at focus group discussions, but in this case, we've had to adjust, because our clients now have to join factoring.
Yes.
Normally, clients will join, be in the other room, looking at, hearing whatever the customers or target audiences were saying. But in this case, how was that? Internet connectivity, is it better than Nigeria?
At some point, I lost the clients. They couldn't hear me. I thought I was speaking to them. I thought they were on the line. It was during the break that I discovered that they had to call.
So how did you mitigate against that problem? Well, you had a contingency, right?
Yes.
How did you do that?
So the contingency was to record the session. Record via Zoom, and also record with a videographer there recording. So that was the contingency we had put in place for anything that could happen, and something really did happen.
Fantastic. Alright, so it is critical, even though you have a plan, it's always important for you to have a plan B. Just in case, maybe internet or whatever, she had already done a mitigation plan that's allowed people for her to still share, whatever the feedback at that particular session was. And if there's anything that you missed, it's always important to actually share. One other thing that I also wanted you to say, and to share with us is that you just jumped from, you wrote the guide and went to Burkina. There was no issue. How was that? A lot of people are still not traveling. People are still skeptical. They're afraid. How was that for you?
It was stressful. So I had to do the COVID test, the mandatory COVID test.
Afraid?
I was. That morning I had to pray extra. I prayed extra. I had to pray extra. I didn't want any surprises, and I really wanted to travel, so I had to do that. That was my own preparation. So yes, we did the COVID test, and then it took a longer time for the results to come out. And I was thinking, I know all sort of thoughts came to my mind. I think waiting for me to come in so they can hold me. Is this? But when the results finally came in, I remember that I danced around my room that day. So yes, that was that. Then I had to do the yellow card. For the yellow card, that one, I had the yellow card already, but I wasn't sure of the validity period because it wasn't clearly. When I later discovered it was stated, but I just didn't read it well. So I went there and
read your documents well. Yeah.
So I got there and I showed them what I had. That I had done this, I think about 2 years ago, and do I still need to do another? And I said, oh yes, you have to. You have to pay. You will do this. You will do this. And it was later, while we were waiting for the test, and then the doctor came out to speak to us to say, oh, if you've done it within so period, you don't have to do it again because it is for life. I didn't know. I was actually sad. I didn't know what to do.
How many days did you lose because of that?
Because of that, that was 1 day. I could have gone earlier, which would have even helped the program I went for. So I lost a whole day because of the yellow card. I guess I'm not used to the COVID. I suppose I'm not used to the COVID. That's the only explanation for getting to do my tests before traveling. But one way or another, it sucked a lot because I did it. Even I had to spend extra that I shouldn't have spent. So I spent extra 3 days, or was it 3 days? Yes. Or 2 days, sorry, that I shouldn't have spent in Burkina because I forgot to do my COVID test. So I think one thing to learn is when you travel, you should also have a list of, I think planning is better. Planning is very, very important. So have a list of the things that you need to do before you go, the things you need to do whilst you're there, and the things that you need to do on return, like when you're returning. So that's a key learning.
Yeah, I guess you were really drawn into the whole drama of actually getting your respondents and making sure that the project went as planned. So, any major learnings for you? Any other thing that you'd like to share?
Let me see. Maybe before you go into a country, try to get the basic for the language bits. Even if it's just the bonjour, comment ça va, like the basic, it helps. Because I think that would have helped me. I had thank God for Google Translate. I had to just learn the simple words. Like I needed, for instance, I went into a restaurant, I needed extra pepper, and it was an old conversation. It was an old conversation.
Yoruba people are pepper. I don't understand. Don't be saying you need pepper everywhere. Now what are you looking for pepper? Why did you carry your pepper from the house?
The pepper is very pepper. No, it was even more important in Burkina because apparently they don't. I think it's more to. They don't take a lot of pepper.
Hey, Ayowande really was. You know that Hassan actually told you about it before he left. Okay, so remember our head of operations had actually gone ahead into Burkina Faso to prep. So really, we don't just enter into any location, without actually understanding it. Even before we gave our clients the proposal, so we had gone ahead when we had indication of the possible countries, that we'll be expanding into. So our head of operations, Hassan Adeli, who is now in Cameroon, who you will get to see very, very soon on our next episode, had already gone ahead to prep. There's something that we say that we do here. We do recce. So it's not just recce, we always say that. It's not menu check. It's what most people actually do, but we actually understand and break through into where do we have to go, do we need to call, what are the legal guidelines, because you can't go into a country so that you don't get arrested. You know, there's something that I always do when I get into any country. If there is a Nigerian, a consular or an embassy in that country, I always go and do like a courtesy visit. And from my experience in Argentina, even recently going to Mali, I'm always seeing the ambassador there. It's amazing. Nigeria, you can enter anywhere. And I like the fact that our ambassadors outside of the country are really receptive and always very willing to actually help and assist Nigerians abroad. So yeah, so before you go into any country, we always do that. And I think at this point, I think it's a wrap. You know, join us on the next episode. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, this is an opportunity for you to click on the link and subscribe. See you next time on the School of Experience. So from Ayowande and I, it is see you later. Bye. Bye.